In this video, lesson 2.2, dividing integers, we're going to go ahead and discuss 7.ns.2 along with 2b and ns3 as part of our standards. So the essential question is how do you divide integers? Well, if you watch the video on lesson 2.1, it's really the same thing, because division is the opposite of multiplication. So here in this lesson, we're going to, when both the divisor and the dividend have the same sign, the quotient is positive. When the divisor and the dividend have different signs, the product is negative. Of course, dividing by 0 is undefined, and division can be written using a fraction bar. I want to start out, though, just reminding everyone that when we're doing division, we're actually taking the total and we're going to divide that by groups, and that's going to tell us how many items we have. Or we're going to take the total and divide that by the number of items we have, and it's going to tell us how many groups. And of course, that's going to be even numbers that we're trying to look for. Looking here at this activity, we want to go ahead and first highlight our information that we have. A diver needs to descend to a depth of 100 feet. She wants to do it in 5 equal descents. How far should she travel in each descent? So we have a depth of 100 feet, 5 equal descents, and how far does she want to go for each descent? So we're going to go ahead and treat this as our total. This one's going to be our total here. We're going to treat this as our groups, and then this will be our items. Use the number line at the right to see how far that the diver goes in each one. So to solve the problem, you can set it up as a division. Remember we said you can set it up as like a fraction bar. So we're taking our total and we're going to put it, and I think in this one we're going to put it over groups. So I'm going to start here, okay, and we have to get all the way down into here. And we have to do it in 5 equal groups because that's what it's talking about. So we sort of want to estimate. So let's see. So if I maybe go by 20s, so that would give me 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups. That gives me 5 groups. So to solve the problem, we set up a division. We're going to take negative 100 and we're going to divide that by 5. And we rewrite this as a multiplication problem. So some number divided by 5 equals negative 100. So we'll put in our 5 here because there's the some number is going to equal negative 100. Remember the rules of integer multiplication. If the product is negative, one of the factors must be negative. So this one is positive, so that means this one has to be negative. Since 5 is positive, the unknown factor must be negative. You know that 5 times what number equals 100. So when we had looked at this over here and we had did our group, we know that it was 20. So using the rules of integer multiplication, you can say 5 times negative 20 equals negative 100. The diver should descend negative 20 feet in each descent, meaning that they're going down. So if you look at F, they're asking you to go ahead and do these problems following the integer rules, okay, and see how you come up. So I went ahead and redrew the table from our multiplication of integers to the division of integers. If we have a positive and we divide that by a positive, our answer is going to be a positive number. A negative divided by negative, and we're going to have a positive answer. If we take a positive divided by a negative, we're going to have a negative answer, and a negative divided by a positive number equals a negative answer. So let's take a look again. If I have a positive 12 divided by a positive 3, I'm going to get 4 positive. So what this is my total divided by the number of groups and how many items I'm going to get. So I drew over here 12 items, okay, because that's 12 total. I broke it up into 3 even groups. And then I only look at one group and I count 1, 2, 3, 4. So I get 4 positive. Okay, going on to the next example where I have a positive 12 divided by negative 3. I'm going to show how I got a negative 4 as an answer. So first I have a positive 12, so I draw my 12 items here. Okay. Then I go ahead and I group them into 3s. So I get 3 even groups, so I have 3 groups of 4. Then the next thing is, remember we talked about how the negative sign says do the opposite. So I go ahead and I change these into the opposite. I change the positive into the negative. So then I have 3 groups of 4 negative items. In the next example here, I'm going to take 12 negative items and I'm going to divide them by 4 items to get 3 negative groups. Now, you really can't have 3 negative groups, okay, but we're going to show how it works here. So here's the 12 negative items. I'm going to divide that into 4 items for each group, and then I have my 3 groups, which in this case are going to end up being negative because I have negative items. In the last example, we're going to take negative 12 items divided by negative 4, and we're going to show how we get positive 3 groups out of that. So again, we have the negative 12 items in red. We group those, okay, and of 4 and 4 even, and we come up with 3. But remember, this means to do the opposite, okay? So we're going to do the opposite. We're going to change all of this into positives, and we have 12 total items. We broke them up into 4 into each group, and we have 3 groups. On the next page here, they're really just sort of talking about the conjectures, and being a division by 0 is not possible. There's another example here, 24 divided by negative 3. So if you go by the previous information we just talked about, 24 is positive, negative 3 is negative. They have opposite signs, so your quotient will be negative. You're still going to do 24 divided by 3, and that equals 8, and then finding out your answers. And then in the last part, we kind of bring everything back together again, where we have a word problem with some additional information. So Jake answers questions in 2 different online Olympic trivia quizzes. In each quiz, he loses points when he gives an incorrect answer. The table shows the points lost for each wrong answer in each quiz, and Jake's total points lost in each quiz. In which quiz did he have more wrong answers? So, you know, we have to highlight some certain information. He loses points for an incorrect answer. The table shows what he lost for each wrong answer in each quiz, and then the total points are lost. That they show that, and in which quiz did he have the most wrong information. So here's the total points right there. This is for each wrong one, and then we have the 2 quizzes right here going on. So remember, we talked about that you're going to take your total, and then you're going to divide that either by the groups or the items. And in this case here, it says each wrong answer, okay, right here, each, that's going to be, this is your total, this is going to be your items right here for items, and then this is going to be the number of groups. You can't have negative 11 questions. Lost 33 points, you lose 3 points for each question. So a negative divided by negative, and you're going to get a positive answer. Coming down and looking at the other quiz, the summer quiz here, you do the same thing, and then you have to make a comparison. 11 is greater than 8, so Jake had more wrong answers in the winter quiz. There's a your turn down here at the bottom, and then of course there's the guided practice, which I just zoomed by right here for you to go ahead and work on.